Hey-hoo, welcome once again to the starting lineup here every Saturday morning, 10:30, 11 o'clock on ABC 3340. Keefer, what's up, my man?
Oh, boy, living the dream. Was down in Opelika this week. My lifelong friends from Atlanta, we got together at the Grand National Golf Course.
Nice.
It was brutally tough, and I can now announce that my once superior golf game has totally deteriorated.
Well, as long as you have a cart and it's supplied with ice-cold beverages, golf is always a fun game.
A bunch of cute golf course attendants. Life was good.
There you go. Speaking of cute, I did the Def Leppard concert.
How about that? Man, you were living your childhood for a second time.
The brand new Coca-Cola amphitheater, which, by the way, is one of the nicest amphitheaters I've ever seen. Live Nation in the city of Birmingham. Kudos to you for putting that thing together.
Yeah, how about that?
Nice. It is in the shadows, of course, of the old Caraway buildings, and so it looks like you're watching an edition of Mysteries at the Abandoned.
How about that?
And the buildings are about ready to fall over and stuff, and it's kind of creepy, but it really is a great backdrop for an amphitheater. But kudos to Def Leppard and Joe Elliott and Phil Collins.
How's the parking and all the details?
Parking was fine.
Okay,
a little
good.
cash will get you parked wherever you want to go, Chip.
a little,
Hand a little couple 20s out the window, and you park basically wherever you want. Like goes to concerts.
I like it. I like it.
But that Tony Curry name still carries a little weight too. So.
Well, yeah. Tony Curry didn't carry much weight.
No,
the name does.
No, exactly. But if you get a chance to go see a show out there, they've got like 30 different shows. Christopher Cross and Toto are coming. Rod Stewart is coming. Some great shows, so make sure you get out there and check it out and promote some live music here in the great city of Birmingham.
And I'm always glad to see any old guy doing anything, so I'm excited about this lineup.
There you go. We're going to do some rapid fire in just a few minutes.
Rapid fire, okay.
So I was driving over here today, getting ready to do the big show on here on a Saturday morning, and I had a couple of questions, and most of them are sports related, but there are a couple that aren't.
Uh-oh.
Well,
I'm well-rounded in it. Not as well-rounded as I used to be, but I'm still a well-rounded individual.
Normally, if you would listen to any of my prior endeavors on the radio, I would do rapid fire with some of my mates, and they would always get angry with me because I did not share the questions with them first.
I don't want to know them.
And so you don't want to know. So we're going straight out of the box, and so we'll have that coming up in just a few minutes. Had a really good conversation with Mark Ingram. We got a show called the UAB Director's Chair. He, of course, the athletic director for the UAB Blazers. The House versus NCAA is now done. Everything's been signed, sealed, delivered. And we now know what we're dealing with. It does not fix a lot of the wild, wild westerns that we have going on in college football and college sports in general right now. But we do know the roster sizes now are down to 105. No one could give me an answer on why that is. It went from basically 120 to 105. There are no such things as scholarships anymore. Which basically means that if you are on a football team, you're paying your own way. Each team will have a cap of $20.5 million annually that they can spend to pay their players. That is for the entire athletic department. Now, a lot of people say, well, what about the Alabamas, the Ohio States? If they got more money, can they spend it? They can, but they can only do that through the NIL, and which is its own can of worms. But
yeah, because those are the collectives. That's outside the university itself.
Yeah. Your initial thoughts on what you've heard, and at least we put this thing to rest. I don't think this is going to be the last lawsuit. I think we'll probably have something else come up. And by the way, like a school like UAB, and I got the number today, $417,000 UAB has to pay out annually for this lawsuit that goes back 10 years. It's retroactive 10 years for previous employees and athletes, obviously, that took the field in all endeavors. And the amazing thing too is this House character. It's not the House and the Senate like it is. The House is actually the name of the individual that was in litigation, and he was a swimmer of all people. They got this thing through. But any of your thoughts on what we heard?
They had to do something because it was a lawsuit and there were thousands of litigants, and they've gotten a decision. But it does not protect them from lawsuits going forward.
No.
This is going to be a never-ending saga unless they're successful, and I don't think they have a chance in hell, pardon my French. That's why they're all up there in Washington with their hat in their hand, begging Congress to pass antitrust legislation, which in this country basically means that you can impose whatever bargaining agreements with your employees, associates, and you can't be sued if they're put in place.
Yep.
So I don't see Congress doing that. I think that there's too much philosophical divide. It gets back to there were laws against big conglomerate monopolies like Standard Oil and some other the phone company, that now broke off into all a bunch of different smaller ones. But until they get some kind of protection from litigation, I think this goes on forevermore.
I think you may have something there. The other thing I thought was really interesting, there is an accounting firm that is basically going to be the oversight of the NIL situations. And so basically, if someone comes in and says, listen, it has to go through them first, they have to file it with this accounting firm, and they say, listen, so-and-so wants to offer Joe Schmo $10,000 to be quarterback for the Alabama Crimson Tide. They have some type of formula based on what this kid's done in his past, what he's presumed to do in the future based on stars and everything else, and whether this kid is actually worth that money, so we don't have rogue boosters who are millionaires throwing $2 or $3 million at a kid that never even takes a snap, to make it fair for everybody, which is going to be really interesting because it almost feels like it's a subjective situation because, how often do we see a 3 or 4 star guy turn out to be the 5-star guy, and how often do we see guys a 5-star guard, he's a bust?
Well, my pardon in advance for what I'm about to say if you're in this profession. But Tony, I don't want a bunch of bean counters deciding who's worthy of getting kind of whatever compensation that they're offered. I'll have to learn more about that idea because on the surface, I don't like that at all.
Well, we have what about 6 weeks? Is that right? 6 weeks, 7 weeks, something
like that. Yeah.
7 or 8 weeks. Yeah, it's getting close. So all we care about is just give me some good product. I know the rich get richer. We're expanding the playoffs. It's going to be a fantastic year. And, of course, we're going to be all over it here in the starting lineup. Anything you want from college football, I know that you have a lot of different places to go to get all your numbers. We have K4 wins. We got everything from the gambling. You're going to make some cash here. We got great guests. And, of course, we're local. So we're going to talk about all the local sports here, and we're super proud of that.
And with 2 radio shows on the weekend and the starting lineup, our theme this year is Football Weekend Information Domination. This is going to be the place to get everything you need for your football weekends before and after.
You ready for a little rapid fire?
Do we have time?
We always have time, my friend. Keefer, who has more total wins this upcoming season, the Alabama Crimson Tide or the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Pittsburgh Steelers play a lot more games, but I don't think they're going to be that good. I think Alabama wins 10. I think the Steelers probably are 9-7-ish or 9-8.
Aaron Rodgers is only a 9-win quarterback?
He's 42 years old. I mean, Aaron needs to be chilling at some think tank somewhere.
All right. Best part of the pig, the ribs, the butt, or the bacon?
I'll go for the bacon.
You the bacon man?
Yep.
I made a great butt last night. Butts are great too because the crock pot, by the way, you single guys out there, just get a crock pot. You cannot screw up a crock pot. And my kids bought me an air fryer for Father's Day.
Those are cool.
And that is like the second best thing in the world. If you get that bad boy, because you just stick it in, you turn it on, and you can't screw it up. If you got a hot date coming over and you want to cook her something really, really special, or you can even take one of those ones that are already cooked, just put it in the fryer, make it look like you cooked it, and just pull it out. And,
can we start calling it something other than butts? I think that's my biggest problem with that part of the
Boston
pig.
butt is the way to go, my friend. Which coach has the longest tenure? Brian Kelly at LSU, Hugh Freeze at Auburn, or Bill Belichick at NC?
Well, Hugh Freeze probably. This would be Kelly's 4th year. I guess Kelly's, because it's only Hugh Freeze is his third or his 4th.
Third.
So Brian Kelly.
How long do you think Bill Belichick will be a Tar Heel?
I don't know. It depends on what this year's record is, I think.
Yeah, I mean, something tells me that was almost kind of like a joke. And I'm sure the football players love the fact that his girlfriend hangs out at practices.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, I used to be a 20-something, Tony.
Yeah.
I knew everything and was a smart aleck. Those guys got to be snickering at him behind his back because he's made himself a laughing stock.
You were a smart aleck? No, really?
Oh, yeah. I knew everything.
Best horse name you've ever heard?
Oh, man. One of my favorites that had a pretty funny name was No More Martinis. That was pretty good. I bet that's what I should have given some thought to, because I know there's been some other really good ones, but I do remember No More Martinis, and he won a couple big bets for me, so that's the one that stands out right off the top of my head.
Right. Case Keefer coming up here live in the desert. The legend is off today. He's not feeling well. You took him out last night. He just can't hang with the Kipper.
I'm telling you, I have those exclusive circles. It's too rich for some folks' blood, but get better quick, Ledge. The show's not the same without you. We're going to get in the Legend Cave and try to fill in later on.
It's not nearly as loud. Final rapid-fire question. Have you ever had a woman call you daddy?
I have to say, not even my daughter-in-law. No woman has ever called me daddy.
All right, your two daddies.
Is that a bad thing?
I don't know. We'll have to talk about it during a break. This is the starting lineup.
Step back into the groove and then into the Birmingham Racecourse Casino.
Check this out. It's all happening here.
The Birmingham Racecourse Casino is the local place to win.
Good times right here.
Let the Birmingham Racecourse Casino bring the good times to you. The Birmingham Racecourse Casino, where the good times roll.
Where you could be a winner too. Yeah, boy.
Welcome to the Legend Cave. We got breaking news right here. I got the Crimson Kool-Aid. I've been shook up all morning, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news right here. We have escaped convicts from the Sports Insanity Center over in Tuscaloosa and Auburn somewhere. They're running everywhere. I don't know what to do, ladies and gentlemen. Security, come in. There might be security now. Oh, Lord, it's one of the escaped convicts.
I'm invading.
Oh, my Lord, how'd you get out?
Good question.
This is Don, the famous Auburn Tiger fan. He's been in the insane asylum for 8 years following Auburn.
8 years?
He went crazy, ladies and gentlemen.
8 years?
What are y'all going to do this year, Don?
10-2, going to the playoffs.
Security. Security. Get him out of here. That's security. Ladies and gentlemen, we have an inmate break. They're running crazy. College football fans have went crazy. They have a football insane. Who is that? Oh, Lord, PG! When'd you get out?
Man, I just escaped Alcatraz. I'm on the run. I'm incognito here. You see my glasses. I don't want to get caught, put back in there. I'm here to tell you how bad and how great the Gators are going to be this year.
He got it right the first time.
Boy, see, I'm all shook up. I'm like Elvis. I'm all shook up.
Well, let me ask you. I know you escaped from the college football insane asylum, but let me ask you, how are the Florida Gators going to do this year? Are they going to put you back in?
We're going 10-2. Mark that word. Sunbelt Billy's bringing them back.
Sunbelt Billy.
And if he doesn't this year, he's gone. You know, we've got the best quarterback. We got a heck of an offense. It's going to score like Spurrier scored back in his 90s. I'm telling you, this team is already picked by Phil Steele at number 10, and it's just going to go up and up. The first two games are easy. Next one's LSU, and we'll beat the Corn Dogs down there. And then our schedule's a little top-heavy to begin with, but after that, it's coasting, baby.
Let me ask you something right quick. Can you beat Alabama?
We don't even play Alabama, but we could. We beat you about
Security!
every
Security!
We beat you in every sport. This one.
There he goes. There he's going. Ladies and gentlemen, we got escaped convicts running everywhere. The college football insane asylum has just the gates have broke down this morning. Here in the Legend Cave, I had to hide the bear. Oh, here comes Don again. Where is security? Don.
What?
How's Aubrey going to do? They're coming for you, brother. How's Aubrey going? Get over here. Get over here.
We're going to be 10-2, and we're going to beat Alabama in November.
Security!
Oh, here I go again.
There it comes. There they go. They got them all ranged up, ladies and gentlemen. I'm having to call security. The Legend Cave has been invaded. Oh, Lord, here comes PG back again. He done got away again. Tell them about DJ Lagway.
Tell you what, he didn't throw in the spring game. He kept his arm, he had little arm problems, shoulder problems, but now he's pumping, throwing 50 times a day. He said he is just hitting every target. And that, them receivers, remember a guy named Wilson? You know, Dallas, he's number 6. He's going to be the next, what's his name?
Security! He's lost his mind again. Security! That's the way we do it here in the Legend Cave, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, here comes Don again. He done got away again. Don, what do you think about the Auburn Tigers baseball team? Ha ha!
Well, where was Alabama? In
That's
the
right.
baseball?
Security! Get him! Put him in the cave! Put him in the lockup this time! Get him out of here, ladies and gentlemen. That's PG, the greatest Florida fan. That's Don. I got to get some of this Crimson Kool-Aid in me.
The Birmingham Racecourse Casino turns dreams into reality. Like Roger M., who just won over $51,000. And Rebecca, celebrating a life-changing jackpot of $160,000. You could be the next to dance the Icky Shuffle with a big win.
Woo! I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Woo! I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Woo! And you can be a winner too!
Don't miss your chance to be our next big winner at the Birmingham Racecourse Casino.
Hey, we got some killer sponsors here on the starting lineup. SPS, Southern Precision Staffing, is one of our favorite. Kai Gregory, I've known him for almost 35 years, man. When you're talking about staffing needs, he's got you covered. And if you're into skill work, you're a welder, a contractor, something like that, you're looking for work, man, they're the place to go. 205-682-2828, 205-682-2828, Southern Precision Staffing for all your staffing needs. They're right here in Hoover, Alabama. They serve the United States of America anywhere from coast to coast. 205-682-2828, where your word and your handshake still means something. The Woodhouse Day Spa, our good friend Stuart Rome, love him. Just had Mother's Day and Father's Day. Everyone was loading up on gift cards for, of course, the Woodhouse Day Spa, birmingham.woodhousespas.com, birmingham.woodhousespas.com, and Sasquatch Toys and Comics, our good friend. We'll get to Seth back in here. He's got toys from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, over 300,000 comics right there off of Citation Lane in Homewood. Check out Sasquatch Toys and Comics. And on top of that, not only is K4 Wins on Tony Curry Radio every single week. He usually runs late Friday nights and Saturday because we record on Fridays. But also we're now on the Coastal Sports Network, which means we're going to be covering the entire East Coast with an hour show that airs every single week. And we're going to get after it. With us about 8 weeks out now, now's the time when you need to put that little piece of plastic in the back of the freezer. That's where you hide your mad money.
Oh,
That's where you
okay.
hide your cash in the
Mm-hmm.
freezer, because the wife ain't never going to look in the freezer because she ain't cooking for you anyway. So you put it back in the back of the freezer, my friend, and we're going to help you make some cheese right before the football season, so you got something to play with.
That's cold hard cash,
That
right,
is cold
Tony?
hard cash, yes.
Yes, we are going to do that. We're doing it right now on baseball, and of course the National Hockey League and the NBA wrapped up. We were pretty much, thanks to this guy sitting next to me, who said the magic number in the NBA series was 110. If Oklahoma scored over 100, if the Indiana Pacers scored over 110, they were all, like unbeatable. And every game it was teetering right on that number.
Sure was.
And Oklahoma City ends up winning the championship, as we predicted early on this year. In the NHL, of course, the Florida Panthers again. But those are over, so now we're starting to look ahead at football. We're going to talk a lot in the next couple weeks, maybe even by the end of the show today, about some of the win totals. I think there's some great opportunities there.
Great opportunities.
You don't have to bet just game by game. There's all kinds of action already out there. We talked a little bit about it. There's Heisman Trophy odds already on the board. If you like somebody to have a great year, you can probably get 20, 25, 30 to 1 on your bets.
Big time.
So great. We're going to have great stuff on K4. We hit it about a 67 to 70% rate against the spread. It's phenomenal. It's free. We don't believe in making you pay for picks. We just want to spread our influence and get on as many stations as we can. So it's a great opportunity. K4wins.com and the K4 Wins podcast available on TKR. You can go to my site, which is KQ Shows, where all my shows are archived. KQ4s.com. If you are a sports bettor, don't miss it. Real quick, Tony, I want to mention too, starting July 12th, Game Time on WJOX 94.5 is back. It's our Saturday morning 8 to 10 show, which is going to cover the SEC all year, particularly on game weeks. But up until the season, we're going to talk about SEC Media Days, which is coming up in 2 weeks. We're going to have a whole report on everything going on. And then, of course, the morning after is back for its 9th season, starting August 24th. That's our Sunday morning show. Game Time, starting lineup, morning after, weekend information domination. It's all here with Tony, myself, Terry Quillian, Case Keefer, and the legend every weekend.
Hey, it's Case Keefer back again for another edition of the Vegas Heaters. I'm a longtime sports bettor and sports betting writer, as long as sports editor for Greenspun Media Group, which includes Las Vegas Sun and Las Vegas Weekly. It's a big week here in Las Vegas. We always try to be topical in this segment. Fight week, we have the big Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford kickoff press conference as well. But what I'm really talking about, UFC 317, the biggest UFC card every year. Does feel like the anticipation is a little lacking this year compared to past years, but 10 times more people come to towns for this than can even get in the arena for Saturday nights. They have big fan expos, everything going on. And we've been crushing MMA in this space as far as betting this year. I believe we are 6-2 after a 2-2 week. The last time we talked about it 2 weeks ago, but one of those 2 wins was a plus 250 underdog, so still very profitable. I'm going to give you my picks, or at least how I would bet each of the top 4 fights on tonight's card. So I know maybe not everyone loves the sport, but if you want to just get some action tonight, if you're going to a party, I am going to, at the end of this, give you how I am betting the top 4 fights at UFC 317. But let's stick to some more mainstream sports to start. No, not football. I know we talked about that last week, but I'm not going to force anything. I gave you some of my preliminary ideas, but I've kind of stagnated as far as my preparation. Haven't bet a whole lot. I really feel like I'm going to hit the ground running here soon, so more football will be to come. But how about what I always like to do if you watch this segment? At the end of one season, I like to dig in right away into the opening numbers for the upcoming season. We kind of talked about the NHL last week as far as the Stanley Cup final. After the Panthers won, I gave out the Colorado Avalanche to win next year's Stanley Cup at 12-1. Hopefully you got in on that and were part of the move as I did, because that is gone now. The one major national sportsbook that had 12-1, now down to 10-1. You can still find 10-1 to win the Stanley Cup, 5-1 to win the West. I'm fine with that. I'd still say go ahead and fire on the Avalanche at those prices. I wouldn't go much lower than that. I'm going to add one more NHL team I'm liking now that I've dug into it a little bit more, looked at the situation. It's on the other side of the bracket, the East. I haven't bet this yet myself, but I think I'm going to now. It's on top of my head for this segment again. Tampa Bay Lightning 16-1, 8-1 to win the East, 16, of course, to win the Stanley Cup. People forget because of the great run the Panthers went on. They closed as an underdog, a slight underdog to the Lightning in their first round series this year. It seemed like the Lightning, everything was coming together at the end of the year. Now I know they're an older team. You could see them fall off in that regard, but I really think they have 1 or 2 more years with all this core in their prime. I think they are going to be a force next year. So it's ironic. This is how sports betting works a lot with buying and selling, but I was against the Lightning and the Avalanche all year this year. I am going to be on them next year. Now, I wish I had that many bets to share with you on the NBA, but I got to say I dug through every NBA future I could after the Oklahoma City Thunder obviously won the NBA Finals in 7 games, which hopefully you cashed in on us with that. We've been on the Thunder since this time last year. I don't think I actually gave out their outright to win the championship, which is disappointing. We had that Thunder Celtics exacta, at least here on the show, that didn't get home, of course, with Jason Tatum's injury, but I did give out Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to win the MVP at his opening price of 8-1. So hopefully you got in on that one. Next year, I just got to say there's no team futures that I'm rushing to bet. I think the Thunder are probably going to break the streak of 7 straight years with no repeat champions. Yeah, I know they kind of showed some warts. They weren't as great in the playoffs as they were in the regular season. You got to remember how young this team is. What was it, the youngest NBA championship team in 48 years? These guys are only going to get a year better. I really think they're going to be the team to beat. And I'm not one to pass on any investment that I think is plus expected value, tying up my money, but I just can't in good faith say, go rush out and bet them at plus 240 to win next year's title. We know how the NBA offseason goes. There's going to be crazy moves. There's going to be hype on other teams. Maybe they raise. If they get into like the 3-1 range, I think that's a good bet, but I'm waiting right now. I do expect the Thunder to get there. If I had to lay one low price, I think I would take the Cleveland Cavaliers at plus 275 to win the East. Hear all this talk about how the East is wide open, and I just don't get it. I mean, for a large stretch of the year, the Cavaliers were on a pace just as good as the Thunder's pace. They hit some bumps in the postseason, had some injuries, obviously bowed out in that upset loss to Indiana, but I think they are clear head and shoulders the best team going into the East next year. So I had to bet one team future. It would be the Cavaliers at plus 275 to win the East. Quickly to pay it off, UFC 317, how I'm betting the top 4 fights. Hopefully can build on that bankroll this way. Ilia Topuria, the global superstar, he's going to keep catching on more here in America. He's going to do it by winning a second title tonight in the main event. Minus 150 to win by knockout, TKO, or DQ against Charles Oliveira. In the co-main event, I'm going to take the big underdog again here. Kai Kara France plus 225 against Alexandre Pantoja. Pantoja, longtime champion. The better fighter, sure, but he takes a lot of hits. He's getting older. One of these times, his chin's going to let down. Maybe it can be tonight against a really good striker against Kai Kara France. Plus 225, just too big for that. Speaking of up-and-coming, Joshua Van in the featured fight. This guy gets steamed every single time he's stepping into this octagon, so it's minus 120 right now at the time of recording. I wouldn't be surprised if he closes like minus 150 against Brandon Royval. Take him at anything under that, like minus 150 or better range. I like Joshua Van. And finally, I don't think this guy should be an underdog, but Neil Dariush plus 105 against Renato Moicano. Good stylistic matchup for him. Let's see how we do. There was NHL, NBA, UFC. Thanks for checking out another edition of the Vegas Heaters.
One of the reasons I asked you in rapid fire who was going to have more wins this year, total wins, Alabama or the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I realize the Steelers are playing 17 games and Alabama's playing 13, 14, whatever it is, or I guess more with the expanded
Just 12
playoffs.
in the regular season.
Yeah, with 12 in the regular season. Both those totals are 9.5.
That's pretty amazing.
That's the first time in 8 years that Alabama has a win total of less than double digits. So there's some murmuring out there. And of course, when you look at that, you've spoken of Opelika. You were down there near Auburn and in the cow country down there. 7.5 wins for Hugh Freeze in his third season. This is not what Auburn wanted. This is not what Hugh Freeze wanted. This is obviously not what they were planning on doing as far as a win total goes. But looking at both those win totals, 9.5 and 7.5, it's kind of hard not to want to go over them both. Not having the schedules in front of us, I know we've gone through it, but really you have to sit down and look game by game.
And that's the key. You look at the schedule. I did it this morning again, just to remind myself so I could do the segment here properly. But you look at the games and you look at which games there's vulnerability. And on the Alabama schedule, to me, there's only 3 or 4 spots that look vulnerable to me. They go to Georgia. That's, of course, going to be a big-time task to try to fulfill, although recent trips to Athens, Alabama has done great. Yeah. Some people might scoff at this, but their first game, I'm not 100% sure what Florida State's going to have. Nobody knows. Florida State's not going to be 2-10 again this year. They've restocked. They've brought Castellanos, the quarterback from Boston College, in. I don't think that's an automatic win. I think that is a vulnerable spot.
Well, what does that tell you about FSU bringing in a Boston College quarterback?
Well, I mean,
he's good, but
he beat them last. He beat Florida State last year.
Sure did.
But it's Ty Simpson's first start. I mean, people are just assuming Ty Simpson's going to step in and run the deal. So I'm not saying Alabama's going to lose that game, but it's still, I don't think, an automatic win. And the other game, the
Wisconsin game's very interesting.
Yeah, I think they'll get by them. Oklahoma's supposed to be much improved. They got John Mateer, who threw for 1,000+ yards last year at Washington State, and he's coming with his offensive coordinator, Arbuckle, so that's a package deal. Oklahoma, people might be just writing them off, but everybody who plays the Sooners this year, that could be a stress test. And I'm concerned for Auburn, Tony, 7.5. They don't play 5 straight home games to start the year.
And that's during the regular season, correct? That does not count.
Regular season, that's
regular
right.
Season, yeah.
So I think they've got vulnerability in a lot of spots. They've got Georgia and Alabama both coming into Jordan-Hare, which both of those are winnable games at home. Yeah. But their road schedule is kind of tough. They open at Baylor. Another game, people say, well, Auburn will beat Baylor. Well, Baylor's a pretty good team.
We had them 5-0 last year before the game we 6, and they started 2-3.
They went 2-3. But they've also got road games back-to-back at Texas A&M and at Oklahoma. Those are going to be tough. They're at Vanderbilt. They're at Arkansas. I mean, there's a lot of spots on the schedule where you go, oh, I don't know. Yeah. I think they're going to be 7-5, which would be under, or 8-4.
One of the reasons we took this spot, 10:30, 11 o'clock, is because at 11 o'clock, ABC 3340 has the SEC Game of the Week right here on ABC, of course, owned by ESPN. Syracuse, Tennessee, the first game we do of Alabama, Wisconsin. Every week is a huge game. Make sure you tune in early to the starting lineup to get your Saturday started right here on ABC.